If you're on the lookout for a family-friendly game to play this fall, then you've got to check out The Creeps, coming to you from Off the Page Games. Let's go take a look. Hey gang, thanks for joining us at Tantrum House Studio 3. I'm Will Meadows.
And I'm Sara Meadows, and today we're reviewing the game The Creeps from Off the Page Games. The Creeps game is from designer Jay Cormier with art from Chris Schweizer.
This is a 2 to 5 player area influence game, and in the game you're going to be taking on the roles of kids who are researching different monsters that are attacking Pumpkins County. Off the Page Games was kind enough to send us this prototype copy to check out, so let's jump in.
After setting up the game for your player count, each turn, players will get to place one of their double-sided monster cards onto a matching clipboard.
If they choose to, they may place one of their character markers and an extra card marker, and they may also choose to play one of their traps.
Traps require you to still have a certain number of unspent character tokens to play them, but they allow you to do things like assign a monster card face down, discard an already played monster card, or even make one of the monster cards wild.
At the end of the round, your placed character tokens will determine how you score points in the game.
At the end of each player's turn, compendiums are moved to the locations where there are the most monsters.
Then, if at least 4 monster cards or tokens have been captured at any location, you get to flip the compendium.
Once all 4 compendiums are flipped, the round end is triggered.
Everyone gets the same number of turns, and then the round ends.
Players will score the value of their marker on the compendium locations multiplied by the number of matching monsters they still have left in their hand.
Then all of the markers will slide to the bottom scoring box for the next round, and everything else will be reset for round 2.
At the end of the second round, the player with the most points wins.
So in this game, we're basically taking on the roles of kid Ghostbusters, trying to set traps, trying to capture as many monsters as we can, and hopefully having the most influence, basically gaining that number 1 spot so that we can get the most points. A lot of that is going to be determined by your card hand management, which in this game is very interesting because you're holding double-sided cards.
Yes, and when you play those double-sided cards, you're going to end up with monsters you don't want in your hand, and they're the ones that you may not have placed your markers out at. And so there's a little bit of tension there of how to spend the cards in your hand wisely, but still have scoring cards left that you didn't spend. So it's tight to try and get the cards you want left in your hand that you didn't spend.
Yeah, it is. And you are going to draft a new card each round from the available ones on the table, so you're kind of picking ahead of time, what do I want to hope to be able to score next time, or what do I want to still have in my hand. That decision-making part is interesting. You also do start the game with a couple of traps in your hand, and those are, I think, really going to shake up your gameplay, because when people don't play very many traps, then you've got just a kind of straightforward who has the most cards, we're working with the most influence, but those traps are all over the place. They do all kinds of different things, and they really do shake up your gameplay each round.
Yes, everybody also has individual player powers if you play the normal mode, and those can give you things like an extra character token to possibly score more points, or getting extra traps, or things like that, getting more cards into your hand. And so that can also shake things up. You can, as well, I just mentioned, you can play a different mode and play a family mode. And in family mode, you'll simply flip over the clipboards. There's only 1 spot on each clipboard for a character token, and everyone's only going to score 1 character token each round. And so it makes it a lot simpler, and you don't play with any of the traps. So it's a very straightforward, just try and place the monsters out, and you will hopefully score one of the 4 locations that are going to be scored at the end.
Yeah, it's a very straightforward way to play the game. When you're playing with the multiple opportunities, each of the scoring locations is going to be of a different value, so obviously you want to be the first one out there to claim the high point one. Also, when you go into the second round of the game, you're going to slide all those tokens down into the bottom half of the card, anybody who had their tokens on it, which now means you're going to be scoring 3 points additional per multiplied value of token that you have on the board. And that really is going to help lead what happens in the second round of the game, because you obviously want to start stacking the monsters in the row that you have both the 5 and the 3 on, and so you're pushing really hard for that. Everybody else is trying to get you out of it. It's a lot of tug of war feel, and then with those traps thrown in, like it can go from being like, I have ultimate control, I'm gonna get so many points, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, this row can't hold any more bet monsters. Even if you put tokens on it, you're not going to get there. Like there's some wild shifts and swings that can happen in the game.
This game does play up to 5. I think it feels there's a little more chaos at the higher player counts because you got more traps coming in and you got more players placing cards out at different locations. A little more chess-like at 2, where you're just going back and forth head to head and trying to influence the places that you hope the other player doesn't have a whole lot of that type of monster. It will feel a little different at the higher player counts. There's so much more going on, and you're just trying to vie for the monsters you hopefully can get in your hand and get those to score big points for you.
If you're looking for a creepily themed game, or if this looks like something that might fit in your collection, definitely check out The Creeps from Off the Page Games. And as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in, following along, liking all of our videos here at Tantrum House.